The story of a couple who on their wedding night, the husband called 911 and they lodged a complaint that there is a stranger on his bed. So the operator asked him, okay, was it a case of a break-in? Was it forced entry? And he said no, that as a matter of fact, the room is still locked from within. So she asked him also that, okay, when they got into the hotel room, what did they do? And he said when he got into the hotel room, after they rested a bit, the wife went into the restroom. By the time she came out, he had put off the lights, so she slept. And she said, okay, so why are you saying there's a stranger on your bed? He said, because the person I'm looking at is totally different from the person that walked into the room with me. So the operator now told him and said, you know what, relax, okay? Once it is done, your wife is going to get up from that bed. She's going to go into the restroom. And by the time she comes back, she's going to look like the woman that walked into the hotel room with you. Bottom line, of course, the wife had already put off the wig, put off the makeup, and she's looking like her real self. And it feels like this is a totally different person from who I walked down the aisle with. Now, it looks like a funny story, but this happens to be the harsh reality of some couples when they get married. It's almost like the unmasking begins to happen, and they come to a realization that the person that they said I do to is totally and completely different from the person that they are living with. Because now this person is in quotes showing his or her real self, and they were never prepared for what this person is bringing to the table. This is why I always encourage couples to sign up for premarital counseling classes. Now, premarital counseling classes are not necessarily just a session for you to receive information and just go. It's also more like a therapy session where you begin to drill into the whys of a lot of things. For example, if you are in a relationship with somebody who has an aversion to touch, this is what I mean. He or she doesn't like touch. So if you're trying to give a hug, the person is not embracing of it. Don't be too quick to just say, oh, this is the way she is, this is the way he is. Not necessarily so. One lady once told me, she said, oh, this is the way I was born. And I said, well, that is not true, because when a child is born, the child doesn't have any memory. As a child begins to grow, the child receives what we call blueprints. And those blueprints begin to form the child's mental models and ideologies. And so based on that blueprint is the way that child begins to respond to life. And this is what challenges, trauma, and things that we go through, especially from childhood, these are the things that it does to the mind. You begin to pick these things up, but you don't even know the damage it's doing to you until you realize that you are now responding to life in a way that you never thought you would. And so during premarital counseling classes, we help you to understand your spouse to be better. So it's not just enough to just say, I love his looks, I love her looks, I love the way he or she dresses, or all that. You must also understand why this person handles money the way he or she handles money. You must understand why this person is not as romantic as you expect. You must understand why this person, even though the person loves gifts, but this person does not love touch, which is love language, talking about love language, so many things like that. And also the angle of unpacking emotional baggages, because most people get into marriage with emotional baggages. One thing I tend to say sometimes is there is really nothing called marital problems. What we call marital problems sometimes are crisis, traumas, things that we as individuals did not deal with before we got into marriage. Marriage is like a house, right? This is how I describe it. Marriage is like a house that you want to pack into. When you want to move into the house is empty, most likely, all right? So you move in with your furnitures, all right? So when you moved into the house, you moved in with everything that you have. So if there's something wrong with your chair, doesn't mean there's something wrong with the house. It means that you need to fix the chair. So what happens most of the time is when we go through issues in our marriage, we immediately say marriage is bad. Marriage is not bad. It's a God idea that is very beautiful, but we do not face the issues at hand. Why am I going through what I'm going through in marriage? When you understand the why, you will drill into the very issue and you'll be able to address the issue. It is in that you will find a resolution and a solution to challenge or the problem you're facing in your relationship and marriage. So these are the things that during premarital counseling I tend to share with my couples and get them to understand, and it prepares them better for their marriage. And of course, I've heard amazing, beautiful testimonies of couples who signed up for premarital counseling classes and have experiencing a very beautiful outcome in their marriage. In fact, there is one that there is a case I handled. They had already called their marriage quit. The plan for the wedding quit just 4 weeks to the day. 4 weeks. The lady reached out to me and she said, you know what? She's done. And of course, I knew her, but I didn't know the guy that she was about to get married to. And of course, when they signed up for the premarital counseling class with me, it was now shuffling as trying to get them to solve the issue at hand and also prepare for the marriage. It was during the sessions that she realized that there were things that she hadn't dealt with, that she was now projecting on the guy, and of course began to have a negative impact on their relationship. These are one, and right now they have been married now for 2 years and they're having a very beautiful marriage experience. So this is just one of the many stories I've heard of those who took the things that they were taught during the premarital counseling classes, and today they have themselves a very beautiful marriage. So I want to encourage you. Are you about to get married, or you know someone who is about to get married? Get them to sign up for the premarital counseling class. The link is in my bio. It's on the screen. Just send a mail and you will be responded to. Send a DM and you will be attended to. And of course, all the information that you need will be sent to you. All right. So I look forward to hearing from you. Don't be like that guy who woke up after his wedding and was wondering the stranger beside him. Be the wise one who will say, you know what? I knew what I was getting into because I married the full package. And today I have a great marriage. Let that be your story. All right. Look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day.